Hello everyone, welcome back to Sharmila's Tutelage, and I am back with another video on pre-primary teacher development. Today, in this video, I'm going to talk about how to be an effective pre-primary or primary teacher, or how to be the favorite teacher of your class. So, today I'm going to talk about 3 points. The first point that I'm going to talk about is how to effectively use TLMs, how to know about your learners, and then how to utilize voice modulation for a good class. So, let's quickly begin. So, I'm going to talk about knowing your learners. When I say so, I mean to know their demography, to know where they belong from, what is their family background, regional differences, regional practices, regional habits of families make a huge behavioral difference in learners. And if we know that, we will be able to tackle them better in the class. What I mean is that if you give an example in the classroom that doesn't really match with someone's family background, the child wouldn't be able to connect with you well. Another thing is about knowing their economic affluence or the economic background. It's not that necessary to know, of course, but if you know about it, you will at least understand that what all amenities they have access to. So if you are giving an example in the classroom that doesn't really relate to a learner because the learner doesn't have access to such kind of amenities or facilities or might not have seen that, the learner will not be able to connect in your classroom. So knowing what your child belongs from, which demography or which economic background the child belongs from, it makes it easy for you to understand your classroom better and design your lessons and modulate your lessons accordingly. How many of you maintain anecdotes? Nothing but just a file, learner wise. So what I say here is that you maintain a register. At the beginning of the year, you maintain a register wherein you write each child's name, you put a child's photograph there, you write about the basic details of the child. And then throughout the year, you allot 2 or 3 pages for the child, and then throughout the year, you talk about what are the behavior observations you have, what are the improvements that the child did throughout the class, or what is some certain observation that you have seen for the child in a day or so, or is there any repetitive behavior that you see in your child. Keep noting everything down for the child throughout the year. You will see that at the end of the year, you have a beginning point, a journey, and an achievement of each child ready with you. This will help you to understand a child's behavior, a child's journey, a child's learning style. What are the triggers that disturbs the child? What are the cognitive triggers that indicates the child? And what are the things that interest the child? So it's a kind of repertoire to you wherein you know a lot about the child, and once you hand it over to the next class teacher for the next year, your teacher will be thanking you for this. As I have mentioned in my previous videos as well, that please avoid criticizing learners in front of the class. So if at all it's extremely necessary for you to point out some mistake or point out a very grave thing in front of the class, please ensure that what you are saying and in which way you are saying. So criticizing can be very demotivating at times, but if feedback is given the right way, it can be very constructive and it may also help other learners in the classroom. So be sure what you are saying and how you are saying. I talk about classroom rules. I talk about classroom rules because I believe that that is the most important weapon, the strongest weapon a class teacher can have. But still, there are a lot of ways. Every classroom is different and one rule doesn't fit all. However, you can have your own certain rules. But make a situation wherein you give the psychological belief to the learners that they are also taking decisions in the classroom and they are also decision makers. This will help them to think that it's not only you ruling the class, but it's a collective effort or collective decision to do a certain thing in the classroom. It might make you republic and it might make you very democratic. Now, the next part. voice modulation. So when I talk about voice modulation, I have a lot to discuss with you. But a very basic thing, what is voice modulation? When I talk about voice modulation, I just say, don't say like this, rather you say like this. So I have been into the classrooms wherein the class teacher is also talking in a certain high pitch, and the class learners are also talking on a certain high pitch, and the classroom is chaotic. I understand the perspective of the teacher as well. The teacher does it because she tries to maintain the classroom, or she tries to pull the energy of the classroom down, and she tries to overpower. But the situation wherein the teacher is trying to overpower, the classroom is also noisy, it's chaotic. And I have seen that in a pre-primary setup, the video is going on. Video has its own sound on the screen, and the learners are also making noise, and the teacher is also continuously talking. Can you imagine a classroom like this wherein there are three sources of noise and making it so chaotic? So voice modulation at the very beginning can curb all these issues. So when I talk about that, I say that whenever you talk, you do not raise your pitch to a very high note. Instead, you can do it in a lower way. So, okay class, we are going to learn about, this is one way of saying, and another way of saying is, okay class, today we are going to talk about, this too has a difference, and these can help you to modulate the classroom as well. The more higher pitch you use, higher the pitch, higher the energy level of the classroom, and then it will be difficult for you to manage at the end of the day. I'll give you an idea. Using voice modulation for your classroom can affect you in different way, help you in different way. Accustom your classroom in your low, polite pitch. It will take 1.5 months to 2 months of time. But when the class knows that, oh, you talk in a medium pitch, you talk in a polite pitch, the day you raise your pitch to inform something, or day you raise your voice to, or raise your pitch to say something or to stop something, the children will be alert, and they will know that, oh, there is something wrong, or we have done something wrong for which the teacher has raised the pitch. So raising the pitch or raising your voice can be utilized when necessary, not always. For early years, when I talk about pre-primary or the primary years, voice modulation can do a lot of psychological bindings in a child. If you expose your child to a high pitch or a high note classroom, the classroom environment doesn't stay calm, quiet and peaceful. Learners will slowly take it as normal. Fine, it is perfectly fine to talk on a high pitch. It's perfectly fine to talk on a high note. This will make their behavior outside the classroom same. They will, in a social setup, on a social gathering, the learner will talk on a high pitch, and then the parents will be jittered that we don't talk in a high pitch in the house, but how is the child doing that? So it's better to behave a child in the social setup. We also lower our voice or the voice modulation in the classroom. If your modulation is if your voice is lower and calmer in the classroom, the learner gets to enjoy a very peaceful and a calm learning environment, making their brain calm as well and open to better cognitive thoughts. If I keep talking to you on a high pitch for a certain period of time, you will be also in unrest. Imagine you have a special learner in your classroom. You have someone who is differently abled and he or she cannot take high pitch. If you're exposing the child for 4.5 hours to such kind of a high note in a pre-primary classroom setup, imagine what you are doing to the child and how painful it is for the child to take the class. If you keep on using a high pitch in the classroom, learners will be immune after some time. After a certain time, even if you try to scold them, even if you try to instruct them or train them, they will not listen to you. Every young learner deserves a calm, quiet and a peaceful learning environment. Maintain a low pitch, maintain a balanced pitch with modulations inside. It will help your learners engage better, connect better, and look at you for a longer period of time and engage with you for a longer span of time. High pitch doesn't help anything. And also here I want to talk one thing, I want to inform about one thing, is that whenever you are playing a video at the background, ensure you are not talking. If you have to say something, pause the video, talk. Once you are done, play back. But please do not talk while the video is going on. This is very disrupting for the auditory learners. If you're using voice modulation, you are actually adopting the storytelling method. Storytelling method is way more connecting and engaging than any other method. So if you are using voice modulation, if you're using a modulated pitch in the classroom, you are ensuring 4 to 5 things. Number one, a calm and a quiet learning environment, helping a learner adopt a very good social skill of using the polite pitch. You're also helping the special learners be in a calm and quiet learning environment. You are helping the classroom to accustom with your low pitch so that whenever you raise the pitch, they understand and follow you better. And you are also using a method that is the best method for pre-primary and primary segment. And the final thing, using TLMs. This is my favorite topic. I have always been suggesting pre-primary and primary educators that please use TLMs whenever you are taking a class. You can have anything in your hand that relates with the lesson, but I suggest avoiding teacher talk. Instead, you can have a story card, a flashcard, a concrete object, a video, a visual aid, or you can refer to the soft board in your classroom. Do whatever you want, but you have something in your hand. While we were doing our teacher training, we were strictly told that pre-primary and primary classes should not happen without a TLM. A TLM is a very strong source of visual, auditory or kinesthetic aid that you can give a learner while they are learning. And we also know that there are 8 types of different intelligence styles and there are 3 learning styles. If you don't use TLM, if you don't use any activity or any supporting activity or any supporting concrete objects are not there with you while you are teaching, how are you reaching all the intelligence styles and how are you reaching all the learning styles? That's all from me today. I'll quickly meet you with another video. Please stay tuned. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel and share it with others. I'll come back soon. Thank you so much for being here.